So in one of my previous videos, I decided to take the scenic route to work, and I came across this beautiful apple tree, but the apples were still a bit small. So we carried on walking, and I came across another beauty, but being the short butt that I am, and all the juicy big ones being really high up where I can't reach, it's too far for me to take my ladder, and I was on my way to work, and I don't have my trusty 6'5" giant with me. So I went home, or actually I went to work rather, and I decided to try this DIY fruit picking doodad that I came across a video of a while back. So first I needed a really long stick, and luckily I had this one. I needed an empty pop bottle, preferably a nice 2-liter one as it's nice and big. Some cutting tools, so I borrowed the Stanley knife. Shh, don't tell him, he hates when I touch his tools. My very trusty, very old glue gun. I'm not even sure if this one still works, but it was the first one I could find, and I need a pen to draw the pattern that I'm going to cut out just to keep it neat, and some very strong gaffer tape. So, first things first, I need to draw the pattern of the hole that I'm going to cut. Now I wanted to have a section at the top that is thinner so that can grab around the branch and help me pop my apples off. So I'm going to do a V at the top so it's sharper, and then a longer section so that it can grab the stem properly. So this bit will wrap around the stem, and then we need a part for the apples to go into. So I need it big enough to fit one of the bigger apples. I'm doing this at the top as I want the apple to fall into the bottom. So I'm just roughly drawing the shape that I'm going to cut out. Now that seems just about big enough. Now my Stanley was too blunt and the bottle was too soft to just cut straight through it. So I grabbed an old knife and heated that up just to make that first hole. And then I'm either going to use my Stanley or my scissors. Actually, this is cutting through quite nicely. I might just use this and just cut out that shape. Edges were quite rough and jagged, and I don't want them to damage the apples, so just running my lighter around just to melt back those bits and make them a bit smoother so that they don't damage. And then at the top, melting those bits, it actually makes them curl in a bit, so that'll probably help them grab the apples better, actually hook around the stems. I only have this tiny apple to check for size, but that fits in perfectly with lots of space, so it should hopefully fit those bigger apples in. If not, I can always come back and make it a bit bigger. So now to attach my stick, I don't want it to go in too far as that'll just poke the apples, but I do need it in far enough that it's going to be sturdy and it's not going to just fall off. So now for my trusty glue gun. I didn't want to lose any length on my stick, and that would make it thicker, so the bottle would probably fit on better. It'd probably just go on tight. So using my glue gun, I'm just going to thicken that stem and pop my bottle on where I want it, and cover myself in hot glue. Glue all the way around the bottom so that it's a nice secure hold there, although we will be taping it in later. I'm also going to do the same in the inside, but unfortunately I couldn't quite get my hot glue gun in there, so I just held it at the top and let it drip down so that it went on the inside and made that hold even more secure. I don't want it flopping about when I'm trying to get those apples. And then just as a little bit of extra protection, as that is still sticking out the stick and I don't want it to, as I said, bruise my apples at all, I'm just going to pop a cloth in over that so that my apples have a nice soft landing in my bottle. So now for that extra protection, I'm just going to grab my gaffer tape rather, and wrap that around a few times just to make sure that it isn't going anywhere. And even though it's just started raining, I'm still desperate to get out and see if my new doodad works. So back to the trusty apple tree we went to give it a go. I don't think I'll be hanging around as my phone is actually getting soaked, so we shall have a try and see if it works. There's definitely a technique to this. So I'm going for the single apples because it's easier to grab their stem and pop it off, and we have success. Our first apple. I'll definitely be back when it stops raining. There are still lots of juicy apples up there, and apparently my kids love the apple pie so much that it's now a once a week thing. Let us know if you guys try this project. It was lots of fun. I'm so pleased it works. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and let us know down below if you have tried it and if it worked for you.